Hi, I'm Dawn, and this is where Shabby meets Bling. Tonight, I'm going to be preparing decadent goodies from bonbons to gingerbread cookies. No baking required. Let's get started.
Welcome to another Can't Sleep Creations collaboration, Gingerbread Edition. I'd like to thank Annie of Crafting with Indie Annie Jones and Monica from Up All Night DIY for joining me. You're going to find the links to their channels and this playlist in the description box below. Let's all be chocolatiers and make some bonbons. Our little candies start with little plastic ornaments, and you can get them at the Dollar Tree or you can get them resale like I did. Well, I did both, obviously. Duh. I'm going to start by cutting the little top off, the part where you hang it, because we do not need it. So they cut off really easy. Surprise, they're plastic. They come off real easy. And I'm going to cut quite a few off. I think I'm going to make right around a dozen or so little candies. Because of the way these little ornaments were molded, they have a ridge, where the two halves come together. And so in between cutting them down, I am giving them a little sand because I don't want to see that little ridge. I want this to look like a real candy, and candies don't have little seams. After our seams are gone, I am temporarily hot gluing them just real lightly to a piece of wire. And I'm going to take that wire and I'm going to stick it into the side of my little cardboard box. This makes it much easier to paint because I am spray painting these, and I'm going to be spray painting them with a brown, just a brown, Rust-Oleum. Here they are, fully painted brown. I did give them 2 coats. And now it's time to make them look like candies, like little bonbons. I am using my dimensional paint, my white, my slick white, and I'm just doing the little swirlies like you would see on a candy in a candy shop. I am using a couple of different patterns, but just think about all the different things you could do to these. Think of the ones when you open a box of candy at Christmas or at Valentine's Day and the beautiful patterns that are on top. So just let your imagination go crazy. Once my dimensional paint is dry, I will be gluing them into the bottom of little candy cups, just like a real piece of candy. And then on the bottom of them, on some of them, I will be adding a little bit of a little clip type of situation so that I can use them on a tree as ornaments. Little candy bonbon ornaments. How cute! Let's bake some gingerbread Linzer cookies. For this project, I am using some foam clay, and I love this stuff. It is fun. I haven't used it a lot, but I'm starting to get addicted. It feels funny, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of a hoot. What I'm doing first and foremost is I'm rolling out my foam clay. I want a nice flat surface. I am pretending to make cookies. These are going to be Linzer cookies, and of course, faux Linzer cookies. The base of my Linzer cookie is going to be made with this fluted round cookie cutter. And I am dipping it into cornstarch so it does not hang on so nice and tightly to my foam clay. And I will begin with making a series of just these little circles. That's where we begin. Once I have my little bases ready, it's time to create the top part of the cookie because they are kind of like a sandwich cookie. And I'm going to be using 3 different designs. This cute, teeny little gingerbread man, and I'm going to use a star and a Christmas tree. And once again, I've dipped them into cornstarch so they release a little bit easier. Not super easy. The newer the cookie cutter, the harder the release. That's what I found. One really cool thing about all of this is that the little cookies that I'm cutting out, I am going to be saving them because they are going to be part of Chili's Gingerbread Bakery and Cafe. So win-win, I'm doing 2 projects at once. So save the little inserts. because they're super cute. They're so tiny. So tiny. Time to paint. I am using 2 different plaid products. One is a folk art matte, and it is a nutmeg, and I'm also using an apple barrel chestnut. And I'm mixing these 2 together to create what I think is the perfect gingerbread color. And I just mix equal parts and stir it together well, and then we will paint. We'll paint the little Linzer cookies. I am painting the fronts and the backs and the sides and the inside little rim of each little cutout to make sure that none of the foam clay actually shows through, because we don't want this. We want this to look like a real gingerbread Linzer cookie. Once painted and while drying, I will now mix the inside of the little Linzer cookie, kind of that jammy jelly kind of situation. It's time to make some jam. Let's get jamming. I am going to be using the glossy Maji Paji because I feel like it's going to give me that sheen that kind of jelly would give me. And I'm going to mix up 3 different colors. 1 for my star, 1 for my tree, and 1 for the gingerbread man. I'm starting by mixing up the green for my tree, and adding to the Mod Podge is some food coloring. It's a gel. I love the gel now that they have, and I'm just gonna add it as much as I want to till I think I get the green that I'm after. The reason I'm using Mod Podge and food coloring is because I want it to be translucent, the way jelly kind of is. You can kind of see through it, but not really. So I'm going to create an apple jelly, a raspberry jelly, and a lemon curd for my little Linzer cookies. Time to fill our cookies. This is the red raspberry jam, and I'm going to enhance it in a little bit, but for right now we need that first layer on the bottom part of the Linzer. And as you can see, the gingerbread color turned out so pretty. It really looks like a nice, deep, molassesy gingerbread cookie. And I am putting a nice, pretty thick layer on the bottom of all of my cookies. I did give my jam a little bit of dry time, shall we say, just to firm up so I didn't mess it up when I put on my top coat, my top cookie. I am using my hot glue gun to apply it to the bottom part of the cookie at a really low temperature. I do not want to melt this foam. Not super sure what temperature it'll take at this point, so I am just a little bit of hot glue, and we are going to put on the tops of our cookies. As I mentioned, I am enhancing some of the jelly filling in the cookies. I am enhancing some of the green and some of the red with these little teeny itty bitty little foam balls. This faux snow. It doesn't look anything like snow. But I'm adding a little bit of that into some of my green mixture and some of the red mixture to make it look like seeds and so on in a jam. Up next, Pomander oranges. I'll be using the styrofoam balls from Hobby Lobby. It's a package of 8. I like these styrofoam balls because you can't see how the foam is put together as much as you can other styrofoam balls. And once again, Christmas is half off, so why not grab them, which I did. So step 1 for these guys is to very, very lightly sand any edges, or once again the seam needs to be very lightly sanded. Of course we're going to paint these, so we need to prep our paint, and I'm using up like little bits of my paint that I have in the bottom of my little containers, and I'm going to scent this. I'm going to scent it with orange. So I'm going to mix in some orange extract into my paint, and this is for our first coat on our oranges. For the top coat of the orange, the very last and final coat, I will be adding some of the gloss Mod Podge into my paint mixture because oranges have a kind of a satin finish, and by adding just a little bit, it's gonna achieve that finish for me. I'm adding a wire into all my oranges so that I can hang on to them nicely while I paint them. Make it easy. I will paint all 8 oranges, all of them. I'm only going to make the pomanders, I'm going to make 5 pomanders, and I'm going to leave the other 3 to just look like natural oranges. And this is coat 1, because after this coat, we're going to give it a little sand again. So a little sanding will take off any ridges that you can still see once that paint is on. The goal is to make these oranges look real as possible. So after this light sanding, I will follow up with another coat of my original paint mixture. And I will follow this process as many times as it takes till I feel that the oranges are looking like oranges. I have painted my oranges with 3 coats of paint and sanding in between each coat. And now I'm adding that gloss Mod Podge like I told you I was going to. And I will paint each and every orange again with this top layer, this top coat. And it's gonna give it the sheen I'm after, and it even gives it almost like a little hard crust, shall we say. And it's gonna make it look like a real orange. I am painting these oranges with a stippling movement to create kind of the dimples that appear in an orange. All of my oranges are prepped and they are ready to be decorated to become pomanders. I am going to use this red ribbon that I got at the Dollar Tree. It has a beautiful gold stripe in the middle, really, really pretty. And I am going to do a crisscross pattern on my orange. I'm gonna bring it up one side and then I'm gonna bring it up the other side, almost like wrapping a little Christmas present. Now it's time to add our cloves, and I'm just using a sculpting tool, but you can use any sharp object that you have around the house to push into your orange to make, you like how I said it's an orange, it looks like an orange, right? Push into your orange to add your cloves. And I, once again, have my hot glue gun set on a low temp, and I am going to glue the very end, just a tiny bit of my clove before I push it in to my orange. I found that if you don't glue it in some fashion, it pops right out. It works its way out. The styrofoam contracts and pushes that clove right back at you. You can make any design you want in these. You can put your ribbon on here. You don't have to use ribbon. Look at some images online of real pomanders and come up with your own design if you wish. I am making all of mine the same. All 5 of mine will have the same design. You can also, if you wish, add some ribbon or some other form of a hanger, and you can hang these on trees. You can hang them on garlands, put them in wreaths, whatever you care to do. At this point, what I'm going to do with mine, I'm going to put them in a beautiful bowl with some other items. And it's going to make a beautiful Christmas decoration for a tablescape. Christmas isn't Christmas without cinnamon sticks. This is another really easy and relatively quick project. And all you need is some scrap brown paper. I'm using scraps from the paper I use when I actually make projects. And I am painting it nutmeg. You can use any darker, not super dark, but dark brown paint. And you're gonna paint your brown paper. This is like a packing paper. You will be painting both sides. So once your first side is dry, just flip it over and paint the other side and let it dry thoroughly. Once dry, you're gonna get a straight edge and you're just gonna draw out basically some rectangles. And it doesn't matter what size they are. You can make small little rectangles or larger ones. It's totally up to you. It's whatever you're going to use these for when it's all said and done. I am going to eventually make these into ornaments and put them in different projects. I'm probably going to put some in with my pomanders, because they're going to smell amazing, just like the pomanders do, because you can smell the cloves and the orange. It's going to be delightful. I have all of my little rectangles cut out, and what I'm doing now is I'm using a pudge. I'm using my pudge to paint down little stripes on either side of my little paper, and I'm coating them with cinnamon. Cinnamon is cheap. Cinnamon sticks aren't so cheap. Cinnamon is easy to come by. You can get it at the Dollar Tree, for goodness sakes. Sometimes this time of year, you're gonna not be able to find cinnamon sticks in grocery stores and whatnot. Everybody's baking and doing mulled ciders and so on, but cinnamon's usually always around. So this is a nice way to have your cake and your cinnamon cake and eat it too. And now I'm gonna coat the other side, just a stripe on either side, because these are our ends. When we roll this up, these are our ends, and we want to make sure there's cinnamon already on them. So once I have them coated, I will cover them in cinnamon as well. Our cinnamon is dry, and now we roll it. We just roll up, and we're going to roll from both directions. And once we get the little roll started on one side, we're going to glue it in place, just with a little strip of glue. And you can play this by ear. You can make them thick, you can make them thin, you can do whatever you want. These are your cinnamon sticks. Make sure you don't have any glue strands, those little strings hanging about. You need to get rid of them. And then you're gonna roll from the opposite direction. You will then secure both rolled sides in the middle with some hot glue, and just finish the roll and hold it until it dries, until it cools, until it dries. You know what I mean. And then we cover the entire thing with Mod Podge. And then we're gonna cover the Mod Podged areas with cinnamon. It is that simple. So you get it all coated, even the end. Now your areas that you already did, you just wanna kind of gently blend into those areas. And once it's totally dry, if you want to add another coat to everything, you can. I mean, it depends on, how realistic of a look you're after. But it's really amazing how these look. I've fooled people. People have thought these, especially since they smell so darn good, and they have the little curled edges on the end. So people think these are real cinnamon sticks. Great for in arrangements, because you can drill through these to add wire. You can put them on a tree. So versatile. You really need to try this because it's easy and fun. Let the kids help too. It's a nice kid-friendly project.
All of our edible, non-edibles are prepared. Let's go take a look.
Here are my beautiful pomanders. Oh, I'm so happy. They're pretty and they smell so good. Smell so good. You can smell the orange and the cloves. And they're just displayed in a beautiful wire basket with some greenery. And you see the cinnamon sticks? There's our cinnamon sticks. Those are our faux cinnamon sticks, and they smell wonderful as well. I've also made some of my pomanders into ornaments so I can hang them on my tree and make my tree smell amazing. Very pleased, very pleased. And really, don't they look like oranges, real oranges? Linzer cookie, anyone? Oh no, you can't have any. Those are for Santa. We are bribing him with some yummy gingerbread Linzer cookies. Some are filled with just straight jelly. Others have the little seeded jam. And they're all for Santa. We put some out on a plate for him, along with some of our candies. Our beautiful bonbons, with a glass of milk, of course. I don't know about you guys, but I want to try that gingerbread Linzer cookie with the lemon curd. It looks so yummy. Yum, yum. Santa's a lucky man. And here's our bonbons. They will at some point go on my tree as ornaments because that's what they were really made for. But they look so real, that dark chocolate and the lovely white chocolate swirls look pretty yummy. And after you're done here, make sure to check out Annie and Monica's channels, as well as this Can't Sleep Collaborations playlist. The links are in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. Share it with family, friends, and anybody that loves gingerbread, Christmas, and faux goodies for decor. Leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. You can follow me on Instagram and make sure to check out my shop on Etsy. You can show your support of my channel by subscribing, so don't forget to subscribe. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.